Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Did we hear this rumor correctly? Is that right? Did Iraq find a replacement for oil as far as renewable energy? And it's been under their feet the whole time. A new type of energy? What do you suppose that would do for their economy, especially if it allows them to get away from relying so much on oil? It could be very, very exciting. Let's get into this. Before we get started, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, head on over to our friends at Miles Franklin. The link will be down below in the description. When you make your purchase, make sure you use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and they'll take care of you. If you have any additional questions, you can reach us over here at this phone number or over here at this particular email. For all orders over $10,000, reach out by email and we'll make sure that you get a great deal. So come on over to Miles Franklin and add to your precious metal inventory. I have to admit, I'm happy to see so many of you guys moving into gold right now. I know it's a little costly, but it is a smart move. So I'm happy to see that happen. First things first, the Ministry of Finance and the World Bank are discussing support for the Economic and Financial Reform Program. So a statement came out from the Finance Ministry, a copy of which went to the news, during the meeting priorities for development projects and ways to support the World Bank to strengthen the financial and business sectors and improve the investment environment were discussed. An emphasis was placed on continuing bilateral coordination to promote sustainable development, in addition to discussing the bank's support for the government program for economic reform in Iraq. Sammy referred to the ministry's effort and plans towards accelerating the pace of financial and banking reforms in line with the Iraqi government's vision aimed at consolidating the foundations of the national economy, creating economic balance, and correcting the course of financial policy in Iraq. Usually in the past, I would say, yeah, that all sounds good, but we'll believe it when we see it. But now when you read this kind of news, it's hard not to get a little excited because Al-Sudani's doing a pretty good job considering his own political party is not working with him, but against him. For his part, the bank representative pointed out the continuation of serious and fruitful cooperation with the Iraqi government and everything related to providing the necessary support in terms of expertise for development projects and reforms related to the financial and business sector. Iraq still trudging forward. Kuwait ambassador to Iraq discussed bilateral relations with Iraqi officials. So the Kuwaiti ambassador to Iraq held discussions with Iraqi Foreign Minister, Undersecretary for Bilateral Relations. The ambassador stated to Kuwait News that the discussions revolved around issues of shared interest and ways to develop bilateral relations to serve the peoples of the two neighboring countries. So it's good to see Kuwait and Iraq playing nice with one another. But let's get to the good stuff, shall we? One more country ahead of us in the race for the most renewable fuel. It is a developing one and will replace oil. A fuel that replaces oil. Now that sounds interesting. So it says a war-torn developing country with a powerful oil industry wants to make a radical turnaround. They've just discovered the renewable fuel that everyone is looking for, and they've had it under their feet for centuries. Find out how they intend to revolutionize their economy and reach zero emissions before we do. I wonder who they're talking about. This country used to be one of the largest oil producers, but now they want to launch themselves into the most renewable fuel. The Renewable Hydrogen Initiative, as a part of the Source Diversification Plan, is being led by Iraq, the long-standing major OPEC member and oil-producing nation. Iraq's government has made transitions away from oil reliance and diversifying Iraq's energy, setting their aim as such. This is complemented by the consummate downfall in prices of renewable energy, such as wind and sun related to power, which has really given green hydrogen the boost that is much needed economically to gain its foothold in the industry. The government of Iraq has been amongst the earliest countries to put the green hydrogen development under-thought through policies, incentives, and production guidelines. Iraq has an adequate solar resource that is estimated to receive approximately 7 hours of its peak power on average a day. The country has zones that are good for wind abundance, hence can be used for the construction of wind farms. The country seeks to leverage green hydrogen production technology like solar and wind power to electrolysis, which can help them stamp their leadership in the same industry. Iraq's proposal to find hydrogen, its subsoil is richer than we thought. The Iraqi Minister of Oil last week outlined plans for green hydrogen production, which would be the nation's very first plant. This episode is being built on the south of the oil region and will be made in the state-run midline refinery companies that is operating an oil refinery. In the initial stage, the power capacity is expected to be around 50 megawatts, but plans to scale it to a gigawatt levels are intended in the future. The timeline on this project has this facility opening by the end of 2025. Building and operation phase will be done through a tie-up between France Total Energies, a company specialized in hydrogen from renewable resources, and Kucoin, an Iraq Culture Financial Company providing funding and logistic support. This business will transfer its knowledge to the best technique for hydrogen extraction from the water with the aid of concentrated renewable electricity. The Q card is the instrument that will make transactions and contracts possible. A look at Iraq's energy industry, how to move from oil to hydrogen. The distinctive location of the country combined with the available abundance renewable source power and also the ability to export them to the expected market put Iraq on the global map as one of the major producers of green hydrogen. Quite a number of Iraq's regions also come with an advantage of powering wind energy due to the fact that they have sufficient wind gradients for wind power generation. Besides the immense desert, which could be modified to serve large-scale solar and wind farms, Iraq can derive heaps of clean hydrogen from these renewable electricity sources. The issue is whether or not you can keep countries like Iran from trying to damage solar panels or wind turbines just out of jealousy, just because they love having Iraq rely on them so much. We already see that they're blowing up generators that are needed for their electricity. So I can only imagine what would happen if Iraq does become the leading country to develop hydrogen green energy. Iraq most likely to have stable and low energy needs within the country. So most of the green hydrogen can be exported to areas nearby that more energy hungry Iraqis vicinity to the prospective export waterways in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East makes it an ideal contender among green hydrogen producers located in a more distant part of the world. The discovery of hydrogen in Iraq is a clear signal to surrounding countries. Will they have deposits of this renewable fuel that will surpass the size of their oil fields? Perhaps this is the key to diversifying their economies, something that Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Qatar have been trying to do for years. So it looks like Iraq is going to start doing what they can to get away from oil and start producing green hydrogen. So it's going to be very interesting to watch. Yes, indeedy. So things still looking good for Iraq. Let's hope that they stay on the straight and narrow and everything goes their way. And we can see the Iraqi people have a prosperous life. Anyways, that's it for now. I'll look forward to your comments. I'll get back at you later. I'm out.